so to speak. I know you guys had your voting when it comes to election the other day in America. In Canada, they have election, the NDP party, liberal, conservatives, and whatever, the progressive conservatives, and all of that. What was going on the other day? Um, there was about 5,000 votes basically wasted because NDP party had to drop out of the race, and her NDP party, like Doug Ford and them, didn't tell the public that she dropped out. So basically, all of those votes went to her, could have went to a different candidate. So my question is, if now that the whole world find this out and figure this out, shouldn't they do over the votes, since one party dropped out of the race, but the votes went to her anyhow? I am lost, I'm disturbed. But you know, when it comes to politics and politicians, there's something else. So why did she drop out? Amanda Zavitz, why did she dropped out? Because she expresses her secret desire to be a black woman. Wait a minute. Sit on a chair for a second. Grab your coffee for a second and grab your popcorn for a second. Say what now? So you are a privileged white lady that most of the time you get into some things because you're privileged. You want to be a black woman and didn't sit down to try to understand the struggles of a black woman. A lot of people will say, oh, well, you're playing the race card. If you're going to be on the exclusion committee, you have to understand where the black race is coming from, especially as a black woman. Black women nowadays days are underpaid, undermined. People already just label them as black, loud, aggressive. So many things that black women has to go through, even healthcare, so much things. There's so many black women dying in childbirth and everything else that come with the color black as a black woman. This woman is a sociology professor of Western University. So how more bigger do you want that? Some black women wish she was in that kind of category and that kind of space to make that kind of money. So I'm troubled and disturbed that everybody want to talk about this inclusion. These kind of diversity programs that they're putting in place, but those things are some undermining racism. Because you have some things going on in the world now that when you fill out the application, they're asking you what background you are, what color you are. Are you native Indian or you're from an ethnic background, minority background? Some people who take up those kind of forms, once they realize what you are, they just maybe don't even thought. Not only that, you have some again where you tell whoever on that form, or whoever's going to pick up that form or that case or whatever it is, that you're black, and then they send one exactly looking like you. And when that one drop that same government racism on you, there's nobody for you to go and cry to. Because how can you cry racism? How can you cry bias? How can you cry all of those things when the person who's dealing with you is a black person like yourself? So some of these inclusive, diversity where strength, blah, 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 blah. Some of these things are undermining racism. And that's just my thought, okay? Or my opinion. So let's get into this one. Like I said, 5,000, nearly 5,000 votes have wasted. The NDP party did not notify the public or other people that this lady, Amanda Savitz dropped out the race because I want to be a black woman story or desire or wants and needs. So when that 5,000 vote go to the NDP, they're still calculating those votes that the NDP won again. And this was from 1954. They never had this full round of winnings, the NDP. Look up your history if you know your history. So I don't understand, but I'm lost, but I'm not disturbed. We know how politics is. So let's get into the story. I am going to read to my best of my ability. Okay, so let's get into this one. So if you voted or you didn't vote, or you know about voting and you care about your tax dollars or any of this sort, let's get into this content. With 1 week to go before Ontarians cast their ballots, a white Ontario NDP candidate has dropped out of the race over comments she made on a conference last year in which she expresses a secret desire to be a black woman. Amanda Savitz, a sociology professor at Western University, running in the riding of Elgin Middlesex, London, announced in a Facebook post that she was resigning her candidacy. But yet still 5,000 votes wasted and went to her anyhow. After further reflection and discussions with the community members, I have decided to resign as the Ontario NDP candidate for the upcoming elections. What they were running for? They were running for the premier. Okay? Because as you know, you have the Prime Minister Trudeau, Justin Trudeau, who's about to step down anytime soon. Remember, in the past, he came with blackface. So it's not the first time that these politicians come and put on this black charade, talk about exclusion, exclusive, diversities or strength. But yet you didn't remember that you were wearing blackface, taunting the black community. Not only that, under the same Justin Trudeau, about over 1,000, if I'm not mistaken, black federal workers are suing for discrimination in government jobs and government bodies. So we all understand that racism always plague one way or the other, to be honest. Okay? Let's get into some other things. I have decided to resign as the NDP candidate for the upcoming election. She wrote, "It has become clear that my past comments has distracted from the critical task of defeating Doug Ford and electing an Ontario NDP government." Okay? Her decision to drop out comes a day after she apologized for the comments also in a Facebook post. The controversy began when Progressive Conservative highlighted a YouTube video of Savitz speaking at the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women conference in New York last March. CBC News captured a copy of the video, which has now been removed. Savitz speaking on a podium at the New York conference recalls an exercise she and her participants did at a Toronto conference 10 years prior called Post Secrets. Savitz said participants were asked to write down their deep-rooted secrets. Some were picked and read to the audience. One included an admission of an affair. Another spoke about stealing money from a spouse's bank account. In relaying this to the audience at the New York event, Savitz revealed her secret. "My secret is that I want to be a black woman," she said. "If you don't know me, you might question this, might wonder if I'm lying or if I really thought through. If you do know me, you will know 100% for certain it's true." Okay? In the video of the speech, Zafich goes on to tell the New York audience she often criticized as being a Karen. Now you know what a Karen is now, do you? Or do you need me to remind you? Because she is a white woman who advocates for equality. The name Karen has fallen into use as a generic and a pejorative term to refer to any privileged woman, often white, who perceive as demanding and entitled. The easy answer is that I want to lead the fifth wave of feminism. And when you look like I do and people call you Karen, it's difficult to be taken seriously. As a leader of the fifth wave of feminism, Savitz tells the New York audience, the more complicated answer is that I want to know all that I know. And I want to be a sociologist, okay? A sociologist, right? So she's a sociologist and a women study professor. I want to be an expert in equality with lived experience of poverty and living in addiction and alcoholism. I want to be able to share my ideas without barriers of looking the way that I do. So after that nonsense, I'm going to make you guys listen to what she has to say. Okay? Um, so because of all of that, right? There was a tape that was uploaded, but it seems like the tape went missing for some reason. I don't know why. But there was a tape that uploaded, and you hear her talking about all this nonsense about why she wants to be a black woman, yada, 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 yada. Okay? And it was troubling and disturbing for me because most of the time, these people pretend that they don't know what the black race goes through and what it takes to be a rightful and a righteous black woman out here. Okay? So that's what is troubling for me. Right? And all of that vote could have went to somebody else, and let's see. Right? So when you come up with all of this madness, that it's crazy, right? And to me, it's it's just crazy for me to know that at the end of the day, this woman never think before she come with her nonsense. Okay?
My secrets.
Listen to it.
I want to be a black woman.
Listen.
If you don't know me, you might question this. You might wonder if I'm lying or if
Listen.
I really thought this through. If you do know me, you will know 100% for certain it is true. And you will find yourself asking why. Well, the answer is easy and much more complicated. The easy answer is that it's because I think that black is much more beautiful. The easy answer is that I want to be Bell Hooks, and Bell Hooks was a black woman. The easy answer is that I want to lead the fifth wave of feminism, and that When you look like I do, and people call you a Karen, it's difficult to be taken seriously as a leader of the fifth wave of feminism.
Remember, she said she wants to come from a place of poverty. She wants to come from a place.
Let me tell you why. This is your new go-to sheepwear.
1 second. Remember, she said she wants to come from a place where let's go back all the way. She wants to come from a place where nothing about no drugs, right? Wait a minute, let's go. She refer because she's white and privileged, right? She wants to come from a place, read with me. I want to be an expert in equality with lived experiences of poverty and living in addiction and alcoholism. Now, people, I hardly drink unless I go out once in a while. Nobody drink like these people. So when you're going to talk about you want to live from poverty, not every black person is in poverty. Not every black person live an addiction, and not every black woman has alcoholism or believe in drinking alcohol. So you see where this is troubling, why she even have to step down? Because you're not even saying, okay, you want to be a black woman because they're out here working hard. They're working in the healthcare field hard. They're out here raising their children without any nannies. At times, no babysitter and all of these kind of things. They're working. Sometimes they're dropping the kids them to school. They're dropping them to daycare. They're picking them up. They're coming home. They're cooking. They're cleaning. They're doing everything that other nation don't do. But the only thing you want to be an expert and lived is addiction, poverty, and alcoholism. So you have a right, and we have the right to say that we don't want you to be a black woman. Because if you think being a black woman is living in poverty, addiction, and alcoholism, then lady, you got it wrong. This is why we would call and look at you and call you Karen. So you have the right to step down. Thank God you didn't win no seat and win no seat to be the premier, because the whole of Canada would have been in jeopardy when you want to be in your mind a black woman. So because of all of that, folks, there was a backlash, okay? And they came and there was a backlash. So this is the backlash. She wants to be a black woman to be a better advocate and ally, which really just demonstrates her lack of understanding about the black woman experiences, said Kaniki. It objectifies us further as if our race and genders is something that we can put on and take off and that she can put on. Like the Justin Shooter blackface and take it off and be a white man when he's ready. I'm a black woman. I'm fully black every day, 365 days of the year. So can I take off my blackness? Unless I'm going to be like one of these girls out here that bleach and claim that I'm a browning and I want to brown and look like chalk. But in my documents, in my passport, in any one of my legal documents that I have to say that's my identity, it's right in the computer, black. Okay? A white person talking about stepping into an identity of a black woman is problematic, obviously. She added, and what about making a space for a black woman to lead ahead of rather than leading for them? And I agree. I really agree. And the point and the point I'm trying to make, people, is that you have to be intended to make greater awareness. And if she did ever live the experience of the black community, racism, systemic, the system, the systemic racism, the biasness, the undermined. What a black woman go through daily, she would understand. But a Karen would never understand. And a person who's privileged will never understand. And a person who eat today and pay next month will never understand the struggles and the hardship of a black woman, even when you have some education. So this one is troubling and disturbing for me. So many votes went, and this lady stepped down, right? And other parties was not even notified about it. So the vote can go to somebody else. Could you imagine that? So I'm troubled and I'm lost and I'm disturbed. But I'm not surprised, right? And like I said, 5,000 votes wasted because she withdrew and nobody told the public. So everybody just continued to vote for this woman, vote to this woman, right? When 4,700 votes going to someone who was no longer in the race, as you can see. So I'm lost and disturbed, but I'm not surprised, people. So if you voted, yippee you for you. But if you never know what was going on, I just had to come and order. Not surprised when a lady privileged wants to talk about the black community. And you know the disturbing part about this? They're always making rules. They're always making all kind of things when it comes to the black community, but we're never at the table to help make these kind of rules, solution, and the lists. Everybody have a solution to the black community problem, but the black community don't have no solution for their own community. You understand? So anyways, people, this is what I wanted to come and talk about. I'll catch you guys in another content. Peace and love.